Most people think fashion personality lives in the closet, like it is hiding somewhere between the denim pile and that one shirt with the tag still on it. But clothes are usually just the surface. The real question is what a person is trying to control when they get dressed. Attention, money, time, identity. That is where the pattern starts. So instead of sorting people by what they wear, let's sort them by what they are optimizing for, because once you see that, every outfit starts looking like a life strategy with sleeves. Type 1, the minimalist. You know this person immediately because their wardrobe looks less like a closet and more like a software update. 5 black t-shirts, 2 pairs of clean pants, 1 good jacket, 1 pair of white sneakers, and a face that says they do not have time for your floral experimentation. On paper, it looks calm. In practice, it is deeply aggressive. This is not restraint, this is optimization. Steve Jobs did not make the black turtleneck famous because he was feeling poetic at 7 in the morning. He did it because deciding between navy and charcoal was, in his mind, stolen energy that could have gone into building an empire, or at least answering emails like a war general. The minimalist has turned boredom into a system. Every item matches every other item, every morning is frictionless, and every compliment sounds accidental, which they enjoy even more. Still, there is something oddly honest about it. They know who they are, or at least they know they never want to think about socks before coffee. And yet if this is one way to control how you are seen, the next type tries to control it by doing the exact opposite, with volume turned all the way up. Type 2, the maximalist. Here, getting dressed is not a routine. It is an event with costume changes emotionally implied. If the minimalist made one decision and automated the rest, the maximalist wakes up and chooses 40 details before breakfast, all of them loudly on purpose. Prints are clashing, jewelry is layered, textures are fighting for screen time, and somehow the whole thing still lands. That is the part people miss. This is not chaos. Chaos is easy. Anyone can throw on 6 colors and call it confidence. Doing it well takes taste, timing, and the kind of visual judgment that makes Iris Apfel look less like a person and more like a final boss battle in a very stylish video game. The maximalist understands that more is not a mistake. More is the point. Every ring, every scarf, every pair of sunglasses that should not work but somehow does, is saying the same thing at once. I was here, I thought about this, and yes, the outfit arrived before I did. Beneath the drama, there is usually real skill. The person who looks the most extra in the room often spent more time balancing that look than the minimalist spent on their wardrobe all year. And if that sounds intense, wait until we get to the type whose entire style depends on moving faster than the internet can get bored. Type 3, the trend chaser. This one is defined by speed. Not taste, not loyalty, not even a stable sense of self, just speed. They do not really have a signature look because their look is whatever TikTok declared essential 3 weeks ago and already started retiring yesterday. 1 month it is ballet flats and ribbon core. Then suddenly it is clean girl, then office siren, then something called coastal granddaughter, which sounds less like fashion and more like a deleted Nancy Meyers subplot. Their closet is a time capsule with terrible memory retention. Fast fashion hauls come in, mirror selfies happen, a few likes arrive, and then the pieces quietly begin their march toward the back of the chair, because the average fast fashion garment today gets worn far fewer times before being tossed aside than clothes did in past generations. That is the joke with a little sting in it. The shelf life of the aesthetic is shorter than the milk in their fridge. Still, there is something understandable here. The trend chaser is not shallow so much as socially overclocked. They are trying to stay current in a culture that punishes being late by 6 minutes. But if this type lives in fear of missing the next thing, the next one has built an entire look around acting like trends are something that happened to other families. Type 4, the old money, quiet luxury type. No logos, no screaming brand names, no giant buckle begging for witness testimony. Just a beige sweater so plain it circles back into suspicious, trousers with perfect drape, loafers that whisper rather than squeak, and a watch that costs the same as a used car while looking like it came free with good posture. This style had a big modern revival through stealth wealth and the whole Succession effect, where suddenly everyone wanted to dress like they had inherited a vineyard and a mild emotional vacancy. The trick is that nothing is supposed to look new, even when it is ruinously expensive. The cashmere should appear as if it has existed since 1987, because the fantasy is not fashion. It is continuity. It is old receipts, family houses, and never needing to explain what your father does. That is why quiet luxury is so funny. It performs effortlessness with the kind of budget that could fund several loud personalities at once. You are meant to look like you threw this on, but throwing this on requires money, tailoring, and the confidence of someone who has never once checked a price tag under fluorescent light. Quiet luxury is not really a style, it is a credit score wearing a sweater. But while that world moves in whispers, the next one forms lines around the block and treats release dates like they are carved into scripture. Type 5, the streetwear head. For this person, the clothes are only half the story. The other half is access. Who got the drop? Who missed the drop? Who is pretending they did not care about the drop after refreshing a page for 40 straight minutes? Sneakers are not footwear here. They are currency, memory, status, and occasionally rent money. The streetwear head knows release calendars the way sports fans know playoff brackets. Supreme Bape, Off-White, Travis Scott collabs, rare pairs sealed in boxes like museum pieces that just happen to smell faintly of rubber and ambition. Scarcity is the real fabric. That is why this archetype feels different from the trend chaser. The trend chaser follows heat after it arrives. The streetwear head often spots it early, helps spread it, and then profits from being right before everyone else catches on. Somewhere between fandom and commerce, a hobby mutates into an ecosystem. One hoodie gets resold for triple, one sneaker flip covers a bill, one lucky pickup turns into a side hustle with spreadsheets and group chats. Underneath all the hype, there is real instinct there, a radar for culture before the algorithm finishes naming it. In other words, this is the rare fashion type where standing in line can look a lot like market research. And then there is the last type, the one who never stood in line, never posted a haul, never announced anything, and somehow still wins. Type X, the secretly has style type. At first glance, this person looks like they gave up. Old hoodie, plain sweats, shoes chosen by proximity, the general energy of someone who left the house to buy toothpaste and got intercepted by society. You would never rank them high on a fashion list, which is exactly why they are dangerous. Because every now and then, an event happens, they actually decide to get dressed, and suddenly it is clear they have better instincts than everybody else who has been trying much harder. The fit is simple, but exact. The proportions make sense. The colors feel natural, nothing is screaming, nothing is borrowed from a trend forecast, and nothing is there to prove a point to strangers. That is the reveal. While everybody else was optimizing for attention, money, speed, or status, this person was quietly optimizing for alignment. They dress like themselves on purpose. Not every day, maybe not even most days, but when it matters, they can reach into the closet and pull out something that feels so correct it makes everyone else look like they dressed for a committee. They were never performing, so they never got trapped inside the performance. The funniest part is that the person everyone wrote off as having no style may have been the only one with actual style the whole time. So that is the list. The minimalist, the maximalist, the trend chaser, the quiet luxury type, the streetwear head, and the one who secretly had the best taste by not turning it into a personality. Now be honest in the comments. Which type are you really, and which type are you trying very hard to convince people you are? Because those are almost never the same outfit.